Don't use myworkchoice, the staffing agency that offers shifts people can opt in for to work. That sounds good. And they do offer some choices, business-wise. And I would actually recommend pursuing that because, that has a lot of perks to it. The issue is the people working at my work choice don't know how to do their jobs. So if you ever have a problem, it will never get fixed. And you can probably see the issues with that. Let me explain what happened to me. I signed up for my work choice about 11 months ago because I found an assembler position. But it didn't work out. The reason why is for 3 reasons. I signed up for the position because I assumed it was had a flexible shift, like what they advertise. But they lied about that. They didn't tell me until after I already did all the onboarding paperwork. They also lied about where it was. I assumed it was pretty close to my house, but turns out it was a different warehouse. And they didn't want to tell me which warehouse either. It was another one. I forget what the third reason was. So I passed on that job for 3 reasons. And it's largely due to them flat out lying to me over and over and over again during the hiring process. Long story short, I found another position through them more recently. I had to ask on their little message thing in the app 6 different times if I could have the onboarding paperwork for that. Nobody wanted to help. They always gave me an indirect answer, but no one actually wanted to give me the paperwork to onboard for the position or help locate someone else. At the 6th time I had to ask that question, I finally got someone's phone number. It was the first shift supervisor for the warehouse I wanted to sign up at. I called him, and he said that the onboarding happened on the app. But he did say there were multiple flexible shifts available, shifts that I could opt in for. So I go back on the app, and there's no onboarding button. So I contact the the customer service team they have on the app. They outright refused to help me. Largely because they demanded there was no shifts available at the warehouse, even though the supervisor at the warehouse told me just hours beforehand there was half a dozen shifts available. So they didn't want to give me the onboarding paperwork because there was no jobs available at the moment at the warehouse, even though the supervisor told me there was. And I even mentioned that to them. And they said I was a liar. Let that sink in for a moment. I mean, just stop and think about that for a moment. Instead of helping the person, or even double-checking what they say, you call the employee a liar. Their entire customer service team, at least on the app, needs to be fired. I will never use them again due to their team. And I suggest anyone watching this doesn't use them either. Because what happens if an issue like your paycheck was sorted and you needed it fixed? What happens? It will never get fixed. Because the people working on the app are extremely lazy and literally refuse to do their jobs. Don't use them. Oh yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. I reached back out to the first shift supervisor, and he apologized for everything. And he gave me another way to possibly get the onboarding paperwork on the app. I tried that. It didn't work. I have tried to ask for the onboarding paperwork at least 10 times, probably closer to a dozen. and I've been insulted. It just, don't use them. Their team doesn't know how to do their jobs, and they need to be replaced. The app itself is decent, but the people you have to work with, avoid them like a plague.